Welcome back to the Missing 411 podcast. Tonight, we begin a deep dive into the truly terrifying reality that lurks beneath the surface of official missing persons reports. We're talking about a staggering collection of disappearances that share patterns so precise, so unsettling, they shatter the boundaries of conventional investigation. This phenomenon is so consistent that we've been forced to give it a name: Missing 411. These are not cases with clear explanations. They are data points signaling something profound and unsettling about the world we think we inhabit. The foundation of this research came from a highly respected source, a retired police detective with decades of experience, David Paulides. He wasn't chasing shadows. He was preparing for retirement when these patterns began to emerge. His extensive research, starting around 2009, compiled approximately 2,000 specific cases across North America. These bizarre instances, some dating back to the 19th century, all exhibited chillingly identical motifs. He asked the simple yet terrifying question: why do these isolated disappearances look exactly the same? Let's jump right into the first and most disturbing pattern: the condition of the victims when they are finally located. If they are found alive, a massive red flag immediately goes up. They often suffer from total amnesia. They are disoriented, perhaps rambling, and completely unable to account for the time they were gone. They have no memory of how they arrived at their often remote recovery site. If the outcome is tragic and the victim is deceased, the scenario is equally puzzling. The cause of death is frequently categorized as simply undetermined, with no clear defensive wounds or signs of conventional foul play. The geography of these missing 411 cases is where the true mystery begins. Victims are routinely discovered in locations they absolutely could not have reached by themselves. We're talking about vast, impossible distances or elevations that defy logic, especially for children or the elderly. And here's the unsettling part: they are often found in an area that search and rescue teams had already thoroughly searched. It's as if the victim was held captive, and then, at a very precise moment, they were placed or deposited back into the landscape, like an object. Consider the infamous 1990 case of young Casey Holliday in Marys, Idaho. He vanished in freezing, brutal weather. Tracking dogs, the gold standard of wilderness searches, could pick up absolutely nothing. Yet, just 2 days later, he suddenly reappeared at the exact spot he was last seen. He was barefoot, hysterical, and, you guessed it, suffering from total amnesia. He couldn't say where he had been. How does a child survive freezing temperatures, unshod, only to be instantaneously returned to his point of disappearance? This detail, the sudden return, is a hallmark of the most bizarre missing 411 cases. The operational failures experienced by rescue teams are a consistent theme. Search dogs are repeatedly useless, unable to track any scent or trail, suggesting the victim was either airborne or carried by something that leaves no terrestrial footprint. This pattern strongly points away from human or conventional animal abduction. Furthermore, an overwhelming number of victims are found missing crucial pieces of clothing, specifically their shoes or pants, even in freezing conditions. While medical science speaks of paradoxical undressing due to hypothermia, the frequency and precision of this detail, coupled with the other anomalies, suggests an intelligent, non-human agency is at work. Another key indicator in the Missing 411 catalog is the unsettling connection to water. Paulides noted that many victims, particularly young men who disappear from urban areas, are later found deceased in a body of water, whether it's a pond, a lake, or a nearby river. Yet many of these are not simple drownings. Take the 2009 case of Jelani Brinson, found in a golf course pond. His cap and shoes were scattered yards away, but his socks were inexplicably clean despite the muddy ground. This suggests he did not walk, but was carried and placed into the water, perhaps as the final disposal site by some mysterious entity. Since conventional explanations fail completely, we must consider the extraordinary. Many of these disappearances occur in remote national parks that are also hotspots for reported cryptid sightings, most notably Bigfoot. The immense strength and ability of such creatures to move silently and swiftly could explain the victim's impossible relocation. The lack of a conventional human scent trail might mean the entity is simply non-human and its scent is biologically irrelevant to the dogs. It's a terrifying thought that the natural wilderness holds inhabitants far more dangerous than wolves or bears. The most radical explanation revolves around nonlinear travel, the dimensional rift, or the time travel mystery. How else can we explain two infants suddenly appearing miles away from their disappearance site? Or a child being instantly returned days later? This strongly suggests a momentary, localized tear in the fabric of spacetime. The victim is caught in a brief dimensional shift, and perhaps studied or manipulated, only to be violently ejected back into reality at a different, random location. The resulting amnesia is a psychic shock. The human mind cannot process an immediate temporal or dimensional leap. And what about the cleanest of all disappearances? The hundreds of cases where the victim simply vanishes without a trace, often in wide-open areas. This is where the UFO disappearances and alien abduction theories gain traction. A non-terrestrial force could execute a swift, surgically clean removal of a subject, leaving no biological evidence for search dogs. The removal of clothing for analysis, the odd placement of bodies, the amnesia, these are all consistent features reported in UFO contact experiences. The entity is not constrained by gravity or terrain, making the perfect escape. At the Missing 411 podcast, we cautiously propose that these theories may not be separate phenomena, but facets of one overarching, unified non-human intelligence. Let's call it the collector. This force seems to operate with selective, chilling precision, targeting specific demographics. Young children, highly experienced adults like hunters, and young men near water. The collector utilizes its non-conventional means, be it dimensional shifting or advanced technology, to quickly secure its subjects. The fact that these cases cluster in national parks and areas rich in geological anomalies suggests these sites are not just random, but are actually hotspots or gateways for the collector's activities. Ultimately, the hundreds of cases categorized as Missing 411 are not random, unfortunate accidents. They are a terrifying pattern etched into the geography of North America, telling a story of a power that operates outside the laws of physics and human understanding. It collects its victims with unsettling ease, and sometimes, for reasons unknown, it returns the evidence, the discarded remnants, to a horrified public. We must ask, what is this entity seeking? And more chillingly, why do the vast, beautiful wilderness areas continue to act as its preferred hunting ground?